So recently we've had the axle world record being broken, but the most talked about record I think ever when it comes to strongman or even powerlifting is how much you deadlift.
Yeah, it's thanks to Eddie Hall, I guess.
Thanks to Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
This is going back nearly 10 years now, I suppose.
Yeah.
Broke the record by 30-something kilos.
And only one person was able to get more than that,
Yeah.
controversially. Oh, no. Is it like quotations?
Yeah,
No quotations?
yeah. Controversially, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully the same guy will attempt to break the record in some other competition this year.
Yeah, it's the same.
Potentially, it's very like
Rogue
very
Invitational,
possible.
maybe.
Yes,
And I think he's really hoping for it because, as far as I know, twice, maybe 3 times, he's mentioned it in YouTube videos that if Rogue offer, for a Rogue record breaker. Now, hopefully it does happen because look, it's such a record that it's obviously the most weight that's being lifted, so it's always going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, it became a very big spectacle again because of Eddie Hall.
Again,
in strongman sport, it wasn't that much of a spectacle before. Nobody really cared. What's your I don't know.
Benedict Magnuson had it for a while.
Yeah, but that was like kind of powerlifting meet, and Benny was never, I don't know, world-class strongman as such. He was always known for having a good deadlift. All he did was deadlift.
Statically strong.
Yeah, so even statically, he was okay. But like as a strongman, again, he wasn't that good. He wasn't like a top 10 guy in the world. I think he never was that. So that said, we have another guy.
Yeah, so again,
potentially can break the record.
Yeah, so everybody at the moment talk about Mitchell Hooper, Tom Stoneman, Hafthor Bjornsson, and obviously everyone has Hafthor Bjornsson probably to tip to break it because he's some of the best deadlifting form we've seen. And then you see Matthew Ragg as well. People talk about his deadlift, but then not for max, but for reps.
For reps, yeah. People are talking about him, but I think there's more hype. There's way more hype around Hafthor, and because Graham Hicks is not as active as he used to be,
which is fair, yeah.
So now I think his main focus is to get that record in a deadlift.
And anyone that looks at his Instagram can see he is training hard.
I think he's already there. I think potentially he can really break it. I had a chat with him yesterday on the phone. I got some information from him. And his 450 kilos deadlift.
For 2?
Yes, for 2. So on the phone, he says he could have got 4 reps.
Oh, wow.
He believes that on that day, he could have got 4 reps. That's how easy it felt for him. That is very impressive. He reckons on the day he could have done for 4. But so now his plan is basically train at 80% all the way till the Las Vegas competition. From looking at it, it might be a good plan.
Avoid injury.
Yes, avoid any unnecessary injuries. And he seems like his nutrition is on point.
Spot on.
That's very similar to Thor's diet plan. So it's all about eggs. He says he's having a couple of steak meals, probably with rice and veggies and
fish.
And he salmon as well once a day. So he's having like four good meals, probably 4 good meals a day. Yeah, that's a lot of beef.
It shows with the athletes. Like you see with Hafthor now, like he's as heavy as he always was, but a lot leaner. We see Mitchell Hooper is leaner than what he usually is. Graham Hicks obviously lost 17 kilos in body weight.
Yeah, he lost a lot of it, but now in the recent months he gained. He says he stands now at 150 kilos. And he says he still doesn't really feel comfortable because before he started like bulking up, he was around 138, 140. He felt fit, and now he's 150. He says kind of it feels a bit too much, but I think he needs to be around that weight in order to pull that 505 kilos deadlift.
But again, like I said, obviously before off the camera, like you and Graham Hicks, both of you are 5'10".
Yeah.
You competed, you were between 145 and 150?
Yes, I was always at around between 143 and 147, let's say.
And what was, say for people at home, obviously, like you obviously, you're probably the closest in similarities with his body type.
Graham. Yeah.
So what's like that kind of weight like for that frame?
It didn't bother me when I was 147, 146. I felt fine, but a couple of times I was around 150, 152. And it affected me in a bad way, because I was struggled to get into position with a deadlift. My movement, it wasn't the same. Like, you know, like it just, it seems like only like 4 or 5 kilos more, but like it really affected me. And from there on, I decided that, right, I don't need to be that heavy to do well in the competition. So, but Graham seems like he needs to be around that weight, because I was never thinking of trying to break the world record in the deadlift, you know. That's his sole purpose now, to get that record.
It's not movement at the moment, it's static.
The weirdest thing is it might hold only for like a couple of months after he most likely gets it.
2 months?
Yeah, so if Rogue decides to put that event in Rogue Invitational just for Thor to break the record.
I hope to do.
I hope they do, because it's like I do and I don't.
But I'm going, so I hope.
Yeah, you're going. Yeah, so you want to see the record.
I want to see the record, especially like it's going to be a part of history if it happens. Like even now when it happens, like obviously these lifts, it's part of history. Again, I said about the axle, like the axle being lifted at the moment was say 218 kilos. It's the heaviest lift ever done. Yeah. So at that point in history, you're going to be obviously it's record breaking, like it's in the name. But like then we see with likes of Eddie Hall, they did 216, and when you look back, like stand like military pressing 216, like he easily could have done.
That was insane.
The 220 is easy.
I said it in the previous video. To me, just I'm not ditching on Mitch Hooper, but to me, Eddie Hall's press was so more impressive than Mitch. I know Mitch is very technical and stuff like that. I'm not saying that he's not legit.
It's still impressive.
His record, he's very impressive, but like the way Eddie did it is like, to me, is like
easy.
Yeah, it's just a bit more impressive because there's no leg drive. Literally just clean it and just straight away press it. Yeah, like I said it, I think on a day he could have got like 220.
But then when you go say to now with the deadlift, like I was saying, like the squat is not really seen as a thing in Strongman.
No,
like, it's not really focused on.
They did the max squat in Arnold Classic. Yeah.
And look, look, I think it didn't hit the way it probably thought it was going to hit. It's just not as big of a spectacle to look at.
To me, a squat for reps is way more impressive than max squat, because like
harder.
Depth is always like, you know, like you like, is it was deep enough? It wasn't. It's very subjective in a way when it comes. But at least with for reps is like when you're doing 350, 320 for reps, it's kind of like people I think appreciate that more than they just max, you know. But with deadlift, because of Eddie Hall,
and again, like
that's way more impressive.
We see like even Graham now. So Graham is obviously training deadlifts hard.
Yeah.
Anyone that watches him, like he's like every week, like he's you see his deadlift is getting better. Mm-hmm. He's focusing. You see him on front squats. Like sissy bar squats is another thing he does. Like he does a lot of focusing on leg drive,
a lot of hip hinge, a lot of these movements. Just solely focus on increasing your deadlift.
And exactly, so that's where like say I mentioned with you what's like to be at 150, kind of similar body types. Like, you know, you always hear like mass moves, mass.
I think at one point he was 168 or something like that.
Heavy,
now that was crazy for his height. That was like, I was like, Graham, how did you?
And then you see pictures of him from a couple of years ago. He was under 105.
Yeah. Like when he started Strongman, he was 105, and just suddenly just start gaining weight and was able to get to 168. That's just this insane weight. But he knows himself. He told me like he felt really uncomfortable, even walking and doing all just normal daily stuff. It just felt like really tasking, you know. So he did the right thing. He went down to 138. Now he's back to 150, and he looks a little bit leaner.
I think he's definitely in the best shape he's ever been.
Yes.
Because at under 105 or at 105, you know, you're a big guy, but if you were to see you in person, you're not like as obviously as intimidating as like someone who's 150, 60 kilos.
I'm as well trying to think who else can challenge Graham in Vegas competition.
Well, to me, I don't think there's anybody realistically, because I know
Ivan Makarov.
Yeah, but I don't think he does it anymore.
He does. I saw him. He deadlifted, 470 from the deficit. No, not from the blocks.
Yeah, so
from the blocks. Yeah. So I don't know. He did it.
But when you see him,
just with him, it was always like.
But I mean, as in regards to like last year when he went for it.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 training constantly. You see the footage, PBs, all this. Rauno Heinle, maybe, but like he did 475 was it last year?
He had so many surgeries on his quad, and I don't know if he's.
But I'm trying to just say put names out there, because like, half doors not going.
Yeah, I think that's who would. They would push each other pretty nicely, like, you know, for the record.
So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think.
Yeah,
there is anybody.
I don't think that anyone can match what Graham gonna bring.
No, because Graham now I think is going to be like, I hate saying, but like what BB was for years doing the axle. So like, you know, he's going to be the standout. Everybody's going to be like putting all the pressure on him.
So Graham is 38. He will be 39 in November. So he's on the
lower, the twilight side.
As a strongman, he's probably, that's it. He's pretty much done as such, you know. And I think he knows it. And if he decides to go out with a record, you know, why not?
Icing on the cake.
Yeah. Like he might, I don't know, will he try to come back into a strongman circuit and try to compete in the world's strongest man again after the potentially breaking the record? I don't know, like especially at his age, you know. So we'll
maybe
see
Masters.
what's his decision. Yeah, but
maybe Masters eventually.
Maybe Masters.
But like for me, I don't think he should go back into like, you know, world's strongest man level strongman at 40 years of age. You know, that kind of way.
Hard.
It's hard. Like
it's hard.
I've seen you say you were trying to get back into it, and like for years and years of putting so much pressure on your body, I don't think you need it. At that age.
I think that's where he's at as well at his point of his life. You know, he knows that he's like can't, like you don't recover as good with trying to do all the events, you know, truck pulls, medleys, everything else. Like you can. That's why he's like solely focusing now on the deadlift. And I think it's the right choice at his point of his career to do that and try to get that record.
Because you see, like, obviously a lot of athletes, when they do compete, and even younger ones, like if you get a bad injury, like Luke Richardson, we see, like Luke Richardson is like he's very young, but he's been out for realistically last 3 years with
Pretty
injuries.
much, yeah.
Like, and if you're that age and you're finding it hard to recover at 40 years of age, when your body is fighting against you, like it's harder again. And
it's
like,
harder.
And if you're especially at like Graham now, where he's like in peak strength, physically he's in great shape. Do you really want to risk tearing something or pulling something? Or, you know what I mean?
I don't know. We'll see what's his decision after Las Vegas competition.
But again, that's what makes you a strongman.
Yeah, it's very hard to stop doing strongman, you know. And it seems like Graham maybe will transition into powerlifting. I think there's more maybe longevity in powerlifting.
Well, he did do it previously.
Yeah, he did it before, and he was pretty successful at powerlifting. So now with the deadlift record under his belt, I think it's not a bad idea maybe to just ride into the sunset, you know.
So basically, to top off the video then, so we'll say like 450 kilos for 2 reps.
Yeah,
felt like 4.
He says he felt like 4.
He felt like 4. Physically, he's probably in great shape. He could be for doing the deadlift. Yes. His work capacity now, he's going to be training at like a reduced rate, probably obviously to avoid injury.
Up to 80%, he says. He wouldn't go more than that.
And his diet is very good.
Yes.
What's the likelihood of breaking it? Like obviously on the day, it's a lot more difficult.
He sounded very confident. I think that's the most important thing. He sounded very confident. Like when you talk to someone and you can see the way they like articulating their situation in that moment, it seems like I'll say he will get it.
505.
505, he will get it. And then we'll see what's going to happen with Rogue Invitational.
Do they still offer the money? $50,000?
Yes, probably more. No?
I don't know.
You know, inflation and all.
Inflation and all that. Yeah. Look,
maybe 60,000.
I hope they offer the $50,000 because if he breaks it after...
If he breaks it, 60,000 or 50,000, whatever, it's nice. And the sponsor should approach him.
Because now the way they're going to do it is like obviously Eddie broke in 2016. Hafthor did it in the bad times, I suppose you want to call it.
Yeah, during the
times.
Yeah, the times. Yeah.
Strange
times.
And they're going to say, like, obviously people argue it's not legitimate. So if this is going to be the case, they're going to say this is the first legitimate record since 2016.
Yes.
That's 8 years.
Yeah.
So look, me personally, I think he's going to break it, hearing from the way the conversation went. Let us know at home what you think. Is Graham Hicks the only man in the world, obviously bar Thor, that is going to break the record? Like, will he break the record, 505? Like always, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to press the like button. Like I was saying, comment down below. Let us know, do you think if Graham will break the record? If he won't, do you think he deserves more than $50,000 if he does break it?
I'll give it to him 100.
Either way, let us know in the comment section down below what you thought of the video. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please press the bell icon. It'll keep you up to date with everything that's Lalas Brothers. And we'll see you in a future video.
See you later, guys.